My name is Peter Kamuti, Deputy Director in charge of Chemistry Lab and Food Safety Department. In the Chemistry Lab and Food Safety Department, we are largely involved in assuring the quality of agro inputs and the produce. Examples of agro inputs that we do testing, things like fertilizers, soil fertility, water for irrigation, manure, pesticide formulations that the farmers use to control pests and also diseases.
My name is Bernard Okonda. I work with KEPHIS. I'm a principal plant nutritionist. In KEPHIS, we receive soil samples from farmers, from researchers, from NGOs for fertility evaluation. When we receive those soils, we process them and undertake analysis of nutrients so that we are able to know what the soil has in terms of nutrients and be able to see whether we are supposed to do some soil amendments by either adding fertilizer or manure.
In this lab, we analyze fertilizers, manures, feed, and plant tissue. And we analyze these matrices to ensure, to check on the quality of the macro, micro, and trace elements. These are some of the key inputs used in agriculture. And what the lab does, from the analysis, we are able to compare the results with guarantees of the nutrients as per the Kenya Bureau of Standards protocols, as well as for those who are actually blending these key ingredients to check that they conform to the specifications.
So basically, we check the quality of those agro input because it's very important to understand the quality of the various agro inputs. For example, the soil fertility, we look at the profile of that soil, and then we're able to recommend to the farmers the kind of amendment they want to do to their soils. Fertilizers, we understand that there are quite a number of effects in terms of those fertilizers, and therefore it's very important to ascertain their quality. Same as water for irrigation. It's very important to understand certain parameters for the water that the farmers are using for irrigation. For example, the pH, different concentration of elements in that water, so that you can identify whether the water is suitable for irrigation or not. We also, assure the quality of the fresh produce. Once the crops have interacted with these agro input, there's a likelihood that the final fresh produce is contaminated with some of the residues of those agro input. For instance, if the farmers don't follow good agricultural practice, for example, if they are using pesticide formulations, then we'll have excess residues in the fresh produce. And what happens is that with these excess fresh MRLs, then there's a danger to the consumers, as well as also it can also affect market access, because we'll get a lot of interceptions because our export produce is exceeding these market requirements.
Pesticide residue is one of the analytical tests which we do in KEPHIS. Pesticide residue is very important because it helps in access of market, international and local market. And therefore, when we carry out that analysis, we support access to international market. The scope of analysis is 400 for liquid chromatography mass spectral, and for gas chromatography, we have around 300 molecules. And this in total, we analyze around 700 molecules, which is important because those are some of the pesticides which are used by our farmers. And in the analysis, we use Ketcher's method, which is one of the most modern methods of analysis, where we follow the process from sample processing, extraction, and then instrumentation. And once we get the results, we can be able to use them to be able to advise the farmers and also the exporters who are key in the export of produce.
The ultimate goal for us as a testing lab is to ensure that we give our clients results that are valid, credible, and unquestionable. And therefore, as a testing lab, we have been accredited for the last 19 years to the ISO 17025. And this standard is about, it gives us the requirements for the competency of a testing lab. So we have implemented those requirements. We have been checked by a third party to ensure that we're implementing these requirements of this standard, and therefore we have been deemed competent in various scopes. So at the moment, we have 7 methods that have been accredited, including pest residues in fresh produce, mycotoxins in cereals and cereal products, heavy metals in fish, sediments and soils, soil fertility evaluation, and fertilizers.
My name is Dr. Alex Njoge, and this is the KEPHIS Heavy Metal Labs, where we do, as the name suggests, analysis of heavy metals in a wide range of sample matrices. So we have soil, fertilizer, water. Water could be for irrigation, for drinking purposes. And we also do environmental monitoring, including things like fish, soil, and sediments. The reason why we are analyzing this is to ensure that, of course, we are protecting food safety. We are promoting food safety in the country as the mandate of Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service. Because, as you know, heavy metals bioaccumulate and they are harmful to the environment, but also for human consumption. Most of our clients would include individuals, but we also carry out monitoring activities where we go around collecting food samples from markets and farms. And this is just to protect and promote food security. We also have a big group of researchers who bring samples for analysis in this lab. And as part of these activities, we're also promoting trade to ensure that whatever goes out of the country meets the requirements in the outside markets. The techniques used in this lab include ICP-MS, ICP-OS. Basically, these are high-end equipment that are very sensitive and can detect very low levels of heavy metals in matrices that we test. What happens is that we get a representative sample, which is digested according to our accredited methods to ensure that we get maximum detection of these analytes that we are after.
Welcome to KEPHIS Analytical, KEPHIS Mycotoxin Testing Laboratory. In this lab, we normally analyze mycotoxins in cereals and cereal products, nuts and spices. And the reason why we test mycotoxins is to ensure that consumers have access to safe food. And also, another purpose is to enhance market for our produce. Yeah. And also we do monitoring and surveillance for within our country, including the imports and exports, as well as generating data for registration and regulatory purposes by the Codex Alimentarius Commission. And the whole process begins with extraction using the organic solvents, and the process you can see at the back here. And then after the process of extraction, we take them to the equipment. We have some sophisticated equipment. The LCMS systems is what we use to analyze, and it has capacity to analyze them to very low detection levels.
My name is Patience Minor, Principal Laboratory Analyst in the Food Microbiology Laboratory. We test for harmful microorganisms in food and food products such as fresh vegetables, dry vegetables, meat and meat products, milk and milk products, as well as water. The purpose of the Food Microbiology Laboratory is to verify compliance to the food safety requirements as well as the export requirements.
And therefore, the whole essence of all this testing is to ensure that we support or enhance food security and also promote market access.